And welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Steve. I'm here, very excited. It's finally here, finally happening. Isofarian Guard. We're here. So I'm very excited to bring this to you. This is the production copy of it. So this was very fortunate to get this early. So I'm going to do my best to share as much of this with you as possible. Get you excited, and also help you get familiar with the game and the rules and all that fun stuff. So welcome, people. Welcome, Philly. Nice to see you here. And Mike, nice to welcome. Okay. This is a live stream, so if you do happen to catch this live, feel free to ask any questions as we go through it. I will do my best to pause. I do have the chat pulled up, so I'll keep an eye on that. And I can pause and explain anything you have any curiosity or questions about. We'll go through it. But this is going to be a playthrough of the first chapter of the game. If you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, I would recommend not watching this. But since it's the tutorial, it's going to be very minor on spoilers. We'll go over a lot of narrative elements, and we'll go through some gameplay. But basically my goal is to go through the full tutorial, and then I'll end at that point, because at that point, I'm going to stop playing, and I want to return to this game with Kim, so my wife, because we like to play these games together, and we'll come back, do more playthroughs of this, as a couple to see how the two-player experience works. Hey, Greg, welcome. Okay. Let's dive down to... Hey, Jess, welcome. I know, this has been on my wait list for a long time. I'm so excited, so excited. So, let's dive down to the table and see how this game plays. So here I have the games kind of set up here, mostly set up. I'm going to go through a little bit of setup with you, because I felt like that'd be a good way to explain some of the core concepts of the game. But you can see here, I have the map of Isofar right here. This is the play mat. It is ginormous. Doesn't even fit vertically on my table. Well, it fits on my table, but not in my camera here. But if I need to, I can pull up the other areas of that so we can talk through it. But fortunately, we're going to be focusing on this area in this campaign part of it. Hey, Nighthawk, welcome. Also have our guard here. So this is Gregory. This game is based upon, it's a open world narrative campaign. And so we'll be playing as these guards, Isofarian guards, and it is 5 campaigns. The first 4 campaigns are going to be focusing on a pair of guards. For campaign 1, we're going to be starting with Gregory. You'll see in this playthrough, we'll add the second guard with them as well. And the guards are really cool because they complement each other in unique ways. But this is the guard we're going to start with, and this is the world we're exploring. There are nodes along the map, so you can see that there's these white nodes. Actually, let's do this here a little bit. So you can see that there are these white nodes and yellow nodes, green, blue, and red nodes. And this is what's going to allow us part of the exploration phase. So the white nodes, you'll draw from a bag and see what happens. The yellow nodes are always outside cities. These are safe spots, and basically you pause and you'll grab another map to pull out and you zoom in onto that city so you can do things within the city. The blue nodes require transportation in the form of boats, so you can't normally go on those. Green nodes are safe as well, and they are generally for harvesting. You see right here, this is a spot for harvesting with wood, and there is, let's see, oh yeah, there's a mine up here. You can see it, my mine. The red nodes are off limits. You cannot enter a red node unless the campaign tells you otherwise. So, but that is how you read the map real quick. And we'll go over this in more detail, but first what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start the prologue. This does come with foreteller narration, which I highly recommend, and I'm going to play it for you here so you guys can listen and we can get a feel for where we are in the narrative story. So I'll pause here, we'll go through the narration, and then we will jump into some more of the mechanics. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. This is for... I'm here to help everyone learn how this works. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the narration part. This is for the prologue.
A cold wind bites into your face as you stare across the killing field. It makes your eyes water and then freeze, covering your eyelashes in tiny ice crystals. You close your eyes to melt the ice, and so you won't have to stare at the bodies. The Falmundians lay piled up in the narrow pass, where you and your fellow guards had ambushed them. A few soldiers had managed to survive the initial arrow barrage and attempted to flee, but they only provided slightly harder target practice. Even with your eyes closed, the images are etched on your eyelids. The surprise on the soldiers' faces, followed quickly by fear and panic. They hadn't stood a chance. Already, the wind and snow are working to sweep the carnage under a fresh white blanket. You and a couple of the younger guards begin picking through the dead like carrion crows, searching for anything of value. You brush the snow from a fallen captain, revealing a face that is far too young. Reaching into the dead man's pockets, you are rewarded with a folded piece of parchment bearing the broken wax seal of Falmund. Inside is a hastily scribbled letter in a script you can't read, most likely marching orders for the deceased squad. It feels odd to be holding the letter that sent its bearer to his doom. If the soldiers had been able to carry out their orders, it would be you lying in the snow alongside your brothers and sisters. You suddenly feel very tired. What is it all for? The senseless fighting, the waste of life. There is no meaning in it. With a sigh, you rise from the corpse and begin making your way toward Captain Grigory with the letter. On the way, you pass Pavel and Yana, who are busy rifling through another corpse. They glance up and notice the letter, nodding in approval, before returning to their grim task. Captain Grigory is deep in conversation with Vera, Catherine, and Karzan when you approach with the letter. The captain notices you and breaks away from the group.
What have you found, Yuri?
A letter on their captain, sir. Probably orders, but I can't make it out.
Captain Grigory scans the letter and frowns.
This is odd. It appears this group was not part of the regular army. They were a special detachment calling themselves Stone Hunters. What could their purpose have been?
I have heard of these Stone Hunters,
says Catherine, stepping forward.
They have bought into their Mad King's delusions about the Stonebound.
Stonebound? You mean the rumors of people with magic powers?
Yes, these Stonebound supposedly use special stones to give them magic powers. This group of stone hunters must have been tracking some poor soul when they made the mistake of crossing into our lands.
Oh, it's all nonsense.
Interjects Vera.
The Stonebound don't even exist. What kind of fool believes in magic and fairy tales?
What do you think, Karzan? Do you have any insight on the matter?
Karzan looks down at his boots and inhales slowly before letting it out. He seems to be weighing his thoughts. A few moments pass before he seems to reach some decision. He looks up slowly and meets the captain's eyes.
It's not nonsense. I have seen a Stonebound with my own eyes.
Karzan waits to be interrupted, but everyone is silent, waiting for him to go on.
This was a few months ago. I was on a galley patrolling just off the east coast near neutral waters. We had been out for about a week, and we were just making one last run of the coastline before returning home, when 5 Falman ships came out of nowhere. They had been hiding in a cove, waiting for us. Before we could react, they had lobbed a ball of burning pitch right at us. Captain, I knew in that moment I was going to die. I could only stare as that ball of fiery death got closer. It was a perfect shot, and then it was gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. We all looked around to see what had happened. Someone pointed up at the cliffs above us. There was a lone girl standing there. I didn't get a clear look at her before she...
What? What did you see?
Well, sir, she jumped.
She jumped?
Yes, sir. My heart leapt into my throat. I thought she was going to die, but she didn't. She flew towards the fallen ships like a falling meteor. Halfway down, a brilliant spear appeared in her hand, and she drove it right through the deck of the lead ship.
Vera begins to laugh. It starts as a snicker and builds up to a full-on belly laugh.
Oh, why have we never heard of this meteor girl of yours, Karzan? Let me guess. She destroyed all the ships, then flew back into space, but not before stopping to give you a peck on the cheek.
Enough, Vera.
It's true. She destroyed every ship there, then disappeared.
Vera doubles over in laughter until nothing but wheezing comes out of her.
Oh, Karzan.
Karzan turns away in disgust.
I know what I saw.
I don't doubt your sincerity, my friend.
Says Captain Grigory, placing his arm around Karzan's shoulders.
But perhaps you were so scared in the moment that you weren't thinking straight.
Captain,
It's okay, Karzan. We'll speak more of this later. We need to check on Pavel and Yana, then head back to Silny.
Captain Grigory heads back down into the narrow pass, followed by Catherine and Vera, who is still chuckling and wiping tears from her eyes. You put your hand on Karzan's shoulder, offering silent support before following the others. When you reach them, your breath catches. There before you stands Pavel and Yana, each holding a strange stone. Stranger still, they are glowing. Karzan smiles and looks at Vera. She isn't laughing anymore.
So yeah, that is the prologue. Foreteller, Fabler system. Awesome. Awesome. I did a fantastic job. I'll interject, there's more of those narrations coming up. I'll interject them when we reach that. But that is the prologue. So basically setting the scene that a group of guards were tasked with defending the area of Isofar. We've come across a group that we took out, and they are not a normal group, so they carry these magical stones and don't really know what's going on with them. That's setting the scene. Okay, let's go to the game. We have Gregory, this is the captain. Let's set him up. So, the book does tell you his stats. So his stats are going to be 20 health. So, if you look at the top section here, this row, of course, as you can probably guess, is where we keep track of health. So we'll put a cube there. You can't go above 20 health. If you do that, you will put another cube on that other row. So this will mark 23 health, for example. But in this game, we only need one of those to mark 20 health. Basically, all the guards in the game have that as a starting health stat. Then it says we have 3 attack. So we'll put this cube at the 3 mark there. And then we have 2 defense. So that is his starting stats. Now, because of that, this is actually a bag building game using very, very nice chips. So, for example, here are one of the poker chips. Because our attack value is 3, we're going to grab 3 of these sword chips and add them into the bag. So the bags themselves are actually super nice. This is really great quality game. You guys are going to love it. So we'll put these 3 swords into this gray bag for Grigory. Now, similarly, because his defense is at 2, we're going to be adding shields. So, because 2 defense, we'll add 2 shields into his bag. So that is his base bag setup. And as you can probably guess, based upon this here, we do have slots for weapon, armor, items or accessories. Accessories and items, Accessories and items. And then we have satchels. So this is like loot you pick up, different gear materials. And then here is your action points. And for the stat-wise, Grigory does start with 2 action points. And all you need is put 2 cubes there. And we'll be sliding these down to show they're exhausted and then ready them later on. That's just for combat. We'll get into that detail later. But what does he start with? He is going to start with some equipment. Because he's the captain, of course he has to have the captain's blade. So this up here, it kind of gives you an idea of how rare it is and maybe what Yeah, it's its rarity. It generally also can hint at where in the campaign you'll encounter it. So down here in the corner, you see that it does have a 1 sword for an attack at +0. You can actually put a chip on this weapon to do a basic attack action. On the back side of this, you'll see some symbols here. So down here in the corner, you see that there is a face of Grigory. That means only he can use this item. You also see there's a slot. Some weapons and armors, you can have slots in them, in which case you can attach speaking stones to them. And this the stones I kind of encountered in the prologue, which can give you some additional powers. So we'll start with that for now. We will attach a... actually, we'll do that right now. So it does say he does start with a garnet. And this garnet, if we look at, has this symbol on it. So anytime you touch a speaking stone, you flip it over and you see what additional chip you get. So now we're going to also add this double sword chip into his bag. Now, if any time we unequip this, we will then have to go into our bag and remove that chip from it. But basically, these two are now combined. We filled the slots, and we'll put those into his weapon slot there. We do have the guard's tunic. So this one has a slot as well. And this infinity symbol means anybody can use this. Anybody can wear this armor. So we'll put that there. And then finally, we have a health potion. These items are consumables. So this one is pretty straightforward. Just heal 3 or 5. 3, sir. Okay, and we don't have anything else to worry about for him. We'll come down to, over here, to his ability board. He does start with guard, feint, advance, and then here is the cross slash. This is the speaking stone we have equipped to the blade. So if we have a speaking stone attached, we can then take an associated speaking stone ability and use it. 5 is right out. I knew somebody was going to get that one. I knew someone was going to get that. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Oh no, I don't have my thing turned on. Okay, there we go. There we go. 5 is right out. Cool. Alright. And then what we'll do is we'll take one of these gems, a red one, and place it onto this active spot. And so what this is going to do, this is going to keep these symbols or these slots down here, keep track of any of our speaking stones, if they're being used or not. We'll go through in combat. Okay, that is Grigory. He's all set up, ready to go. It does say to put a bust of him, a chip bust, at 28 here. So we are at node 28. And then we can continue on with the story. So now we're officially in chapter 1. So to help us out is the game does come with a Lux dial and a Sil dial. Lux is basically your experience and Sil is money. So normally I would use those, but because I'm streaming with you guys, I thought it'd make it a little bit easier. And I'm going to put on the screen right above my head here a digital counter so you can follow along easier with us. So we're going to start with 0 experience, 0 money, and that book symbol there is to keep track of where we are in the campaign. So because we're in chapter 1 and we're moving on to chapter 1, section 1, I am going to go ahead and bump that one up 1. So that way, if you're following along at home, going through things, you can follow that number and see where we are in the actual story. Okay. Now that we're done there, we do have another narrative event. So there's a lot of narrative events in this beginning part. We'll pause, believe after this. We'll pause after this, do a little bit of exploration, then we'll do some more narrative. This is part of the tutorial to try to get everyone understanding how the game works. So let's go ahead and now that we've heard a little bit about the Stonebound, or the speaking stones there, let's go ahead and jump to the next section. So let me prep that real quick, and we will... And this is from Grigory's point of view. So here we go.
Pavel and Yana are glowing. You blink your eyes, but nothing changes. They just stand there, glowing.
Stonebound.
The word forms in your mind. You immediately begin scrambling for other explanations. A trick of the light, a hallucination, anything to explain how two people can be standing right in front of you glowing.
Captain?
Yana's quiet voice pulls you out of your thoughts. You look up to see she is staring at you.
What?
Your voice catches. You can't seem to remember how to speak.
Captain? It's okay. Everything will be okay.
She smiles and places a small stone in your hand. Time ceases to exist. You are surrounded by an immense presence that threatens to overwhelm your senses. Pieces of your life flash before your eyes. Your father teaching you how to string a bow, fishing for striped fish through a hole in the lake ice, laying in the loft as mother's stories fill your head with wonder each night. You also see darker things. Stealing a chicken from Brother Fenn's yard, bloodying Carl's nose in a childhood fight, the terror of your first battle, the face of the first soldier you ever killed, just a boy whimpering for his life as you struck, again and again, trying to silence him. You look up and see a vast darkness stretching out before you. Tenebrous. It rolls over you like a fog, burying you in shame and regret. Suddenly, a voice calls out to you from beyond the chaos. You turn to the voice, and the darkness is shattered. You breathe in, out, and everything is okay. When you finally open your eyes, your guards are all around you. Pavel, Yana, Catherine, Yuri, Vera, Karzin. You look at each of them and see that you are all something more now.
Stonebound.
The word comes to you again. In the back of your mind, the voice is still there, speaking to you, guiding you. You sense that it is calling you to a valley, the Valley of Lux.
Guards!
Your voice is odd in your own ears.
I know not what is happening, but I know that nothing will be the same again.
Your words seem to break some strange spell, and time resumes.
I can see that you all have experienced something like what I have. While we have been fighting our petty wars, a great darkness has come upon us unseen.
Your guards are silent, no doubt reliving their own experience with the enveloping shadow.
But fear not, for there is a mighty presence who guides us now.
At this, your fellow Stonebound look up hopefully, and there are even a few smiles.
We can all hear the voice calling us to the valley, and I wish to go. But I feel it is my duty as captain to warn the king of what is coming.
You continue before there can be any objection.
Karzin, you are the most experienced guard here. I want you to lead everyone to the valley, while I travel to Silni. If I can make the king see the truth, we can strike a mighty blow against the shadow.
Karzin looks at you intently.
Captain, I will do my best, but I can't help thinking you're making a mistake by trying to convince the king.
Perhaps, but I owe it to the people of Isofar to try. They must know that the Stonebound are real. When I'm done, I will meet you all in the valley.
You give one last look to your guards, your fellow Stonebound, before stepping on the road to Silni.
Okay, so that was the next narrative moment. And in the campaign 1, it currently says that we are at this node here at 28. And our job is to go tell the king over in Silni. So we need to march across nodes 30, 31, and get to 32. And 32 is when we'll zoom in and go into the city. How many lobsters have you defeated at this point, Blake? Not yet, none yet. But hopefully many over the course of the campaign. And of course, there's a fun inside joke on the Isofarian Guard Discord about the lobsters. So, yes, must take out all the lobsters. Okay, so now we will go through the exploration part of the game. So another part of it is there is a black bag, and this is for exploration, and it is going to consist of a number of different chips, 5 different chips. It's going to have 2 of these compasses chips. These are basically non-events. Nothing really happens. Don't come across any bad guys. The other ones you'll come across are skulls. So you have a 1, 2, and a 3 skull chip. And these are different enemies you'll encounter. So we'll put all of these 5 chips into this black bag. So anytime we move on to the white spots here, these white nodes, we will have to draw a chip from the bag, see what it is, and put the chip back in the bag. So we'll do that right now. So let's go ahead and move to node 30. Reach in and see what we encounter. So draw a chip blindly here, and we draw into a single skull. So to figure out what that means, there's an index book right in my hands here. And we're in chapter 1. What we're on node 30? Yeah, node 30. So let's zoom into this one. So chapter 1. And we're at node 30, and a single skull means we encountered a brigand marauder. And that Roman numeral 1 means we put him on the Roman numeral 1 enemy track. And because this is black text, not red text, see how this is red? Oh, it doesn't look very red on the screen. That is actually red. You can tell in person, but maybe not on stream. That means ambush, means they attack you first. But because it's black, we get to go first. So I'll go ahead and grab the brigand marauder. And we need to grab Roman numeral 1. So here's Roman numeral 1, enemy 1, right here. And then there's a huge stack of enemy cards. And that one is a 1-star. So here is the brigand marauder we have to go up against. He has 1 attack, 1 defense, 2 action points, and 7 health. So he will go right here. And then what we're going to do is put 2 action points here. He had 7 health, 1 attack, and 1 defense. So we need to take him out. He also comes with 8 AI cards. So there's a deck of cards right here. I was going to shuffle these up. And those cards, as I drop them everywhere, will go onto this gear spot right here. Okay, and that's basically all we need to do for setup for combat. It's pretty quick, honestly. You have to do that if there's more than one enemy. You have to lay them all out. Okay, and now let's dive into combat. So how combat works is, let's look at this chart right here. So this is one of the reference guides you get in the game. This one's very, very useful. And so we'll look on the here's my mouse. We'll look on the left side here. So here's the start of the round. This is what we're going to run through here. So first thing we'll do is the guard's turn. After we do the guard's turn, the enemies will go, and then we'll do a cleanup of chips, and we'll rinse and repeat. Pretty straightforward. Just kind of alternate. Now we'll start with removing some effects. So if we had evasion tokens or extra defense, those will go away. The important thing is, there are the different colored chips in the game, and the different colors tell you if they persist or not. So there are red chips and green chips. Those, when they activate, they will activate and then go away. Purple chips will remain until you do something about them. They'll stay in your bag, potentially forever. Hopefully not. So if it's a bad one. And the black chips are ones you're going to be drawing through a lot. And so let's go ahead and run through this together. Okay, so it's our turn. So what we need to do is we need to look at how many cubes we have ready here. We have 2 cubes, so that means we'll go ahead and reach into our bag and draw 2 chips. Now the rule is you will draw chips one at a time until you have 2 black chips. That means if I draw any red or green or purple chips, they don't count to the draw of 2. I keep going until I do that. Now, because we started the game, basically I'm drawing 2 chips. So I draw into a double sword, and then I drew into a single sword. Okay. Now let's go ahead and look over here at our combat and see what our options we can do here. So this here is where you can place any positive buffs and negative buffs you get. So if you had any green cubes that go up here, red cubes that go in here, there's just a nice reminder spot. This is your discard area. That's going to fill up as we go through our bag. And then these are our abilities we can do. We can do those abilities plus this one up here, which is our basic attack. So let's look at these abilities in closer detail. So this is the guard ability. So it requires a single shield token to be placed on it, and it requires us to spend one of our action points. Now currently, we do have 2 action points, so we'll spend one of the 2 in that example. And then we do the effects. So while active, +1 defense, add a green shield chip to his bag. So this will build up the shield chips in his bag for future turns. Now, each guard has their own special ability. Grigory has the chain ability. Chain ability is pretty straightforward. All that means is the first ability he does not get chain. Every ability he does after that, he gets chain. So if I did this one first, I would not get it. If I did one of these other abilities we'll go through in a second, I would then be able to add another green defense cube to his bag. Also on the top here, whenever you remove chips from this card, it says to flip it. And so this here is a P for primary side, and this is a secondary side. So he has another ability which is different on the other side. So a lot of the game's trying to figure out when to flip, when to play your cards. Whenever you get into combat, you always start with all of your primary sides face up. Alright, here is Feint. Let's look at this one real quick. This one requires a sword and a shield. Can add a break token. That means -1 defense to an enemy. And chain, get to attack an enemy for +0. So maybe you can do an extra attack, which is pretty nice. And advance, this one will add a green sword chip to his bag. And if we chain it, we add another green sword chip to his bag. And then cross slash is pretty awesome. This one, because it's a speaking stone, does not require any chips to be placed on it. Instead, we will take this stone or chip or stone piece, whatever it is, place it on here to say this was activated. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go into the exhausted spot, and then we have to wait another turn to get it ready again. So basically, every other turn you can do these abilities. And this one, attack all enemies for +1, so it's like an area of attack, which is really cool. Okay, so now we have these 2 chips, and we can figure out what we want to do with them. The other rule is you can take you can't make change, but you can take 2 symbols and combine them into the other symbol. So, for example, if I wanted a shield, these 2 swords can act like a shield. So I still, despite the fact not having a shield, I can still activate some of these other abilities. So I think, ooh, this is tempting to do. Try to do a couple, I can only do one attack. Let's do guard to start. So I'll put a chip on here. Remember, this is 2 swords, but can act as a shield. I will then go ahead and spend our action point here. And then this means, while active, we get +1 defense. So that will give some defense. And I get to add a green shield. And this one, green screen, so you can't tell. There, now you can tell because you can see through it. A green chip into Grigory's bag. And then I'm going to use his last sword up here to do, oops, I'm sorry about that. A normal attack. This is attack at +0. How attack works is we look at his stat. Stat is 3 normally, adding +0, so it's just a 3 attack. Let's go over to the enemies. And so he only has 1 defense, so 3 minus 1 is 2. He's going to take 2 damage, so he's down to 5. You know what? While we're at it, let's go ahead and hit him hard. Let's go and do the cross slash. Let's do another attack. This is at +1. So that's going to be 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 minus 1 is another 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. He's already at 2 health. Okay. That is the end of the hero turn, or the guard's turn. Let's see what the enemy does. The enemy, you'll draw this card, and we'll just run through it. Oh, by the way, there's also this aggro token. This gets placed on the guard that attacked last, because Grigory's the only one in the game. He's always going to have it. Hey, Steph, welcome. So, here we go. Brigand Marauder, this will tell us what he wants to aim for. He wants to go after the guard with the lowest defense. And if they're tied, he goes after the guard with aggro token on it. In this case, we only have one guard, so it's always going to be Gregory. Attack target. He wants to do a sword thrust. So he's going to spend one of his action points. And this is the enemy's action point. Oh, this get refreshed. To do a +2 attack. So let's go and look at what he does. He's got 1 normal attack. +2 is 3. Looking at Gregory, he has 2 defense. But remember, while this is active, he gets +1 defense. So that he actually has 3 defense. So it's a 3 attack, 2's 3 defense. So he takes no damage, which is great. And then it says, if this attack deals no damage, draw a card. So if he dealt any damage, we would end the turn, and that's it. But because he didn't do anything, we need to discard this card and draw another card. So he's going to go after Gregory again, of course. He's going to do the same thing, which has the same effect. So we discard that card again. And then we do another card. Of course, we're going to Gregory attack. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. He would do a sword thrust. Yes, he was going to do sword thrust. He would spend it AP. But he does no damage. So we draw another card. He runs through this. He's targeting Gregory again. He wants to do this attack target. So he would try to do this Dirty Fighter. But you see here, he needs an action point. And fortunately for us, he has no more action points left over. So he can't do that. We keep running through this. He can choose himself. If his health is less than 7, which is true, he'd spend an action point to heal. But guess what? He's still out of action points. And then we finally end the turn. So that was an awesome, awesome start for us. He basically didn't do anything. So luckily we had our defense bumped up. So yeah, these AI cards control everything they do. All the enemies act differently, which is very, very cool. Now we do cleanup. For cleanup, we will discard our tokens. Yeah, Ryan, the action system works very easy. It's very easy to run through. I'm a big fan of it. So we'll discard these tokens. So this one gets discarded as well. Because we discard off of this card, we'll flip it over to the secondary side, and we can zoom into that one. So this is take cover. While active, get +2 defense, and then chain to get a green action cube. Okay. Now we do another round. Now, at any time, you can look into your bag to see how many chips you have to get an idea. But of course, when you draw, it has to be blind. Now, I took a peek in here because I want to make sure I had enough chips. If at some point you ever want to take your discarded chips and put them back in your bag early meaning your bag's not empty, you can take a damage to do so. I got enough chips in there, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's go ahead and draw 2 chips. Do the next round of combat. So I draw into a sword. And draw into another sword. Wow, lots of swords tonight. Okay, let's take a look at what we can do. Now, he's only at 2 health. We could probably take him out. How can we do that? We can't do our... Oh, this is... No, down here, it's exhausted. So we can't do our cross slash anymore. We do have a basic attack still. We can do that once a turn. Unfortunately, I can't really activate the rest of it. If you run out completely, you just reshuffle it with no damage. That is correct, Ryan. If you have an empty bag, you can take the discard, put them in there, and draw normally. It doesn't happen as often as you'd think, to be honest, because it's very frequent you'll add chips to your bag, or the enemies will, so you normally take damage. It's kind of surprising. But it's fun. It's part of the decision space. Oh, man. I can't do what I want to do. So I'll do what I can do. So I'm going to do advance. This requires 1 action point to do. And that's going to add a green sword to our bag. So a green sword chip gets thrown in there. And then let's go ahead and put a basic attack up here. Yeah, Blake said, enemies often add trash to your bag. On your next turn, it's only bad chips. That's exactly right, Blake. It's like, oh yeah. My bag is empty. I'll draw my chips next time. But the enemy goes, he'll add like a single bad or 2 bad chips in there, and then it's like, oh well, bummer. So it's my free draw. So okay, let's do a basic attack. I've got 3 attack. He only has 1 defense. That's 2 damage. He is dead. Woohoo! I guess I didn't have to do that. Oh well. Hey, at least I get to show you what happens. So whenever you destroy the enemy, you will then take this card and flip it over. And you can see the rewards we will get. 2 Lux and 3 Sil. Now, you don't get this right away until all the enemies are defeated. Once all the enemies are defeated, then we get it. Of course, this is the only enemy we have. So we will go ahead and grab those resources immediately. So we'll get 2 Lux and 3 Sil. Okay, cool. And then to reset for the next game, we will reset the board here. We'll start with all our abilities on the primary side. Reset that, ready to go. And then you actually have to go into your bag and take a quick peek if you have any green or red ships in there. We do have 2 greens. They will get removed from the bag. So we only start the game with purple and black chips. They will persist in our bag between combat. So that is his bag all set up, ready to go. We can then take away our Marauder. We took care of him pretty nicely. So that turned out very much in our favor. Set that to the side, and we'll move this board off the side as well. Okay. Back to work. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Blake. Okay, so that was our first node. Let's keep going on this exploration phase. So let's go to node 31. And like before, we will go ahead and draw into our bag and see what we get. We draw into a double skull. I wanted to make it through without drawing all enemies. Not my luck today. That's okay. That's okay. I think the combat part of the game is the fun part to run through anyway. Alright, so I'm assuming we're going to have this board out again. Let's go and take a quick peek. We're at node 31. So 31. Let's see. So 31 double 1 is a timber wolf. It is just 1 wolf. Is what we're fighting. Okay. Now you can see what a wolf does in this game. Where's the timber wolf? There's only a few enemies in this game. There's a lot of enemies in this game. I'm just joking. Alright, here we go. Luckily it's only 1. So here is the wolf. 2 attack. 1 defense, 2 action points, and 7 health. So kind of similar as before. But now you can just see how different he is. Just as are the chips like Chip Theory Games premium chips. It is the exact same company that makes them. So the Chip Theory Games and Sky Kingdom Games use the same factory to produce the chips. So yes, same quality. Yeah, in fact, this game quality as a whole is top notch. Really is. They did a great job with this one. Good questions. Good questions. Okay. So let's go ahead and shuffle this up. And this is not an ambush, so we will go first again. Put that down, and here we go. 2 chips. So first chip we draw into is a sword, and the second chip we draw into is a shield. Okay, let's see if we can't do something a little bit different this time. Yeah, definitely worth the wait, for sure. There's a lot of nice attention to detail here, and I'll show you the storage system they have for this game. Right now, I kind of had Gregory on the board just to kind of ease the gameplay getting running quickly. But Alec, when he's the next guard we'll encounter very soon here, I'll show you how that's stored. It's very, very slick. Yeah, I know it's been a long time waiting stuff, but it's definitely been worth the wait. In fact, I've been playing it. I played through the first chapter of the first campaign, got through the whole thing, got into a little bit of chapter 2. And honestly, I didn't want to put it away. I'm like, oh, I put this away. I just want to keep going. This is so good. It's so fun. I don't want to stop. So, but I wanted to make sure you guys got a chance to see it too. So, and plus, I gotta restart with my wife too. So, all right, here we go. Because she would be mad if I play this without her. Ooh, can we take him out? Oh yeah, we can. Oh, we can totally one shot this guy. We can do it. Luckily, we're in tutorial mode, so it is pretty easy right now. So if I do a feint, this requires a sword and a shield and 1 of our 8 action points. Add... Oh no, I can't take him out. Nope, I can't take him out. Dang it. I was going to do that. The enemy would drop loot. Is that randomized? It is not randomized. In fact, certain enemies will drop certain loot. and it's part of the crafting system in the game. In fact, we will probably see that at some point. I'm not sure if you see it in the tutorial, but you see it shortly after the tutorial when you go to a city. There are different spots you can interact with. The blacksmith will show you what you can craft, and it'll give you a list of the cost to craft it, all the materials you need. And some of the materials drop by certain enemies, so then that's part of the game where you need to understand where in the world you can find those enemies, and then go out there and do some hunting, basically take them out. Would be mad if you played it without her, exactly. Kim is a blast. Unfortunately, she's sick, so hopefully she'll get better, so I can bring this to you soon. But I love playing games with her. She keeps me on my toes, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm very fortunate to have her to play with me. So, okay. I was hoping I could do the chain effect on that. I cannot. I cannot do it. Okay. Let's try... Let's do a little bit of damage this time and try to set us up for the next one. So we will do... Let's do the similar way we did before. I'll spend 1 AP. Get our guard going. So we'll add a green chip into the bag. And let's go ahead and do our basic attack right here. So remember, we got 3 attack coming over here. 3 attack to his... Let's do sides so you can see better. There we go. 1 defense means he takes 2 damage. 1, 2. Now the question is, do we do the cross slash to attack all enemies, or do we save it 1 round here? I think I'm going to save it. I think we're going to save it because I'm hoping we can do a big attack and take him out next turn. Yeah, I'm going to save it for this one. Unless you guys yelling at the screen, no, do it. So, okay. We'll leave it at that. We'll end our turn. Those active. We'll see what the wolf does. Wolf is going to go after lowest health, which is definitely me, of course. Pounce. He's spending 2 action points. So all his action points are being spent, plus 2 attack. So looking at what he has, the wolf has 2 attack, plus 2 is 4. So 4 coming at me. Looking at what we do have 2 defense. But because we have 1 activation here, we actually have 3 defense. So we are only taking 1 damage. So we do take our first damage here. Oh, and I forgot these are supposed to be ready. And then because it says that, we need to exhaust 1 from the target. So we actually lose 1 of these because the Timberwolf attacked us. And then we have to end the turn. So you see already that the Timberwolf has almost the same stats as the Marauder, but he's already playing different, which is very cool. Refresh his stuff. Now we have to do cleanup. Let's go and discard these tokens. And now the unfortunate thing is I'm only drawing 1 chip. Curse you, wolf. Curse you. Okay. Okay. So draw into a sword. I was hoping to try to take it out in 1 turn. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I think we're still okay. Let's go ahead and do the basic attack. Again, it's 3 attack to his 1 defense. So it's 2. Yes, we're good. Let's do cross slash. This is plus 1, so it's actually 4 attack to his 1 defense. That's 3 damage, and we just took him out. Okay. Came out with that pretty unscathed. Well, fairly unscathed. So we reset the board. I do have to go in there, grab that green chip and remove it because we did not draw into it, which is okay. The rest of these chips get in the bag. I do... Oh, technically this should have flipped last turn. I forgot to flip it. Sorry about that. And important thing is our health does not reset. It stays at where it is. So part of the game is trying to see if you have enough resources to make the trip from a safe city to another safe city. Because along the way you can encounter all sorts of interesting things. So, and if you die in the game, you do respawn. The respawn point is something you can save and set. And generally, you can go to like an inn and pay money to create a safe spot there. There's also another location which you'll encounter later in the campaign, which also could do that as well. Okay. So that was it. We did complete that. Oh, you know what? I'm putting the whole thing away without showing you what we get. We get 2 locks. So let's kind of get that to our board here. And we get a wolf pelt. So, getting to your question earlier, Pickle. This is not random. It is specific to the wolf. Of course, a wolf pet would take on a wolf. It makes sense, right? And so there is a bunch of enemy drops. And so we'll go ahead and take one of these. So this is what you get. A wolf pelt. And down here tells you what the quantity is. On the flip side, it does actually increase in quantity. So you have a single card to represent that. And that is going to go into our satchel right here. And so we have 1 wolf pelt. Wolf pelt. Man, I can't talk. Okay. That was it. We are on node 31. We can move on to node 32. Remember, this is the orange node, which means we pause the game and we're going to enter Silny, and that is a narrative event. So, what that looks like is we will, I gotta move some stuff out of the way real quick so I can show you what Silny looks like. Let me zoom out. And in the game, it comes with lots of little these map boards. So this is Silny. So let's zoom in and take a quick look here. So because we entered node 32, we will take our piece and put it down here on 32. So you can see how we zoomed in on Silny. And there's a lots of different ways to interact in here. There is a blacksmith right here. There is a market where you can go buy stuff. And there is an inn which you can rest. Hence that campfire thing. But because there's a narrative chip on this, we can't do any of these actions. Instead, we have to continue with the narration. So the narration takes precedence over anything else you normally could do during exploration phase. So, going to the book, Campaign 1 book, we now move on to Section 2 of Chapter 1. So, and this requires a bit of narration. And there's a story moment coming up here with a choice. I will ask you guys to help me pick. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next narration, which is 1-2. That's what it is. Okay, here we go. Grigory's at the gate.
You round the final bend in the road and see the walls of Silny standing before you, cradling the city beneath the sheer face of Mount Ural. You never cared much for the bustle of city life, preferring the company of a few good soldiers and the peace of the wilderness. Still, it has been a long day, and a soft pillow beneath your head would be most welcome. But first, the king.
Who goes there?
The familiar face peering down at you from the wall is wearing a lopsided grin.
You know exactly who it is, Alec. With you guarding the wall, I'm surprised Falmund hasn't already taken the city.
It's good to have you back, Captain. Open the gates!
There is a slight pause before the seer's gate cracks open and then swings in with a great groaning of timbers. When you step through the gate, Alec is there to meet you.
Where to, Captain? The barracks or the Raven's Beak?
Neither, I'm afraid. I must speak to the king immediately.
The smile drops from Alec's face.
So you came upon trouble on your patrol then?
Yes, trouble and something else.
You suddenly feel self-conscious about being stonebound. You determine not to say anything until the king is notified.
I see. Keep your secrets then. Let's get you to the king.
Okay, so that's the next part of it. So we do need to move our chip to the Castle Strigg. So heading to the castle to talk to the king and see what happens. And of course, we jump straight into another narrative event here. So let's gonna kick that one off to see what happens. And at the end of this is gonna be a choice. So listen to what's going on in this one. And yes, I'm sorry, that was not a choice, Ryan. The choice is in this one. I gave you a little bit too early of a warning. So here we go. Here comes the choice.
After passing through the chaotic city streets, you see Castle Strigg rising above the inner walls. Alec escorts you through the inner gate before passing you off to a member of the King's Guard.
Farewell, Captain. If you get the chance, stop by the barracks before you leave the city. I know the guard would love to see you.
Thank you, Alec. I'll be sure to do that when I'm done here. Make sure to keep your eyes sharp on that wall.
You return Alec's salute and turn to ascend the steps to the Great Hall. 2 more of the King's Guard pull open the hall doors, and you are greeted by the booming voice of King Karst.
Gregory, my faithful companion, I'm glad to see you. But your early return does not bode well. Tell me, what have you encountered out on your patrol?
King Karst's frankness is often jarring to outsiders, but you know that the king doesn't suffer foolish pomp or idle pleasantries. It is often best to get straight to the point.
My king, we ambushed a band of Falman's soldiers in the mountain passes west of here. Judging by their brazen actions and the material they carried on them, my best guess is that they were stone hunters.
Stone hunters. King Joram has gone well and truly mad. He now sends good soldiers to their death on a fool's fancy.
My king, I know this sounds unlikely, but King Joram may not be as mad as we suspect. I have seen something that will change our understanding of the world.
You pause, screwing up your courage before uttering,
The Stonebound are real.
King Karst locks his gaze with you before a new voice breaks the silence.
The Stonebound do not exist.
A cloaked shadow emerges from behind the throne.
Ah, greetings, Temnota. I was wondering if you would be skulking back there.
Such disrespect is unbecoming in one of your stature. I'd be more careful, especially after espousing such heresy.
The truth is not heresy.
Well then, show us the truth.
Okay, so here we have a choice. Do we prove to Temnota that we are stonebound, or do we speak to the King Karst privately? So I'll go ahead and do the first response I see on the live chat. So, option A, speak to Temnota that you're stonebound, or option B, speak to King Karst privately. A or B? Cool. It's really cool to get a branching option already in the tutorial. Otherwise, I will pick one randomly. B. Just says B. We're going to speak to him privately. Okay. That's what we'll do. So that means we go to section 5 in the book. So we were on, that was 3, now we're moving directly to 5. some different options there. Okay. Lots of 5s going on though. Okay. Hey, oh, welcome, Eric. I assume that's Eric. So, welcome. I'm glad you see you here. Okay. So, we're in chapter 5, and this is another narrative moment. So, let's go ahead and pause to do that narration again real quick. Let me just set this up. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, guys, to get this thing going. Let's try to make it as smooth as possible. Chapter 5. Where's chapter 5? Ah, here it is. Okay, here we go.
I'm not here to prove anything to you, Temnota. My words are for King Karst alone.
You turn your attention back to the king.
I would speak to you privately, my liege.
Despite the protestations of Temnota, King Karst rises and beckons you to his private chamber. He seems out of sorts as he closes the door and turns to you. Not at all the same man who had welcomed you into the hall a few moments ago.
Gregory, you don't know what this power is capable of. The Circle of Seers has warned me of the Stonebound.
Your eyes widen in surprise.
Yes, despite what Timnota said back there, she believes this new power exists, and she fears it. The Stonebound go against all the teachings of Uvidet, and by simply existing, Stonebound threaten to tear apart our society.
Sire, I have never known you to be overly religious. Would it be so bad if the teachings of Uvidet and the Circle of Seers were shown to be false?
King Karst walks to the nearest window and bids you to look out.
Have you ever seen anyone lose their faith, Gregory? This may not be surprising to you, but it has been some time since I have given up my belief in the old teachings. Of course, I still play the part for the people, but I can no longer put my faith in the teachings that ring hollow to me.
Then denounce the Circle and proclaim faith in this new power.
No, Gregory, losing my faith nearly destroyed me. Can you imagine what would happen if all of Isofar suddenly had its entire belief system shattered? The chaos would spill out of every house and into the streets. Brother would turn against brother, and we would destroy ourselves.
You give your people too little credit. We are strong and resilient. We will rebuild our faith, but this time it will be based on something true.
King Karst turns his attention from the window back to you.
My dear Captain, how is it that you have come to believe in the Stonebound so fervently?
You pause, unsure of how to proceed, but a voice, the voice, reassures you in the back of your mind. You meet King Karst's eyes and speak.
I am Stonebound.
I was afraid you would say that. You may collect your belongings from Fort Strass.
Sire?
I'm stripping you of your duty. You are hereby banished from Isofar on pain of death.
My king, please!
I am not your king any longer! I will not risk the chaos you would have me unleash on this country! Guards!
2 King's Guards burst in and begin pulling you to the door.
You cannot avoid the truth!
You manage to yell before the guards shove you through the door. You look back to see King Karst turn back to the window and hang his head.
Oh man, I love that narration. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. It does say to put the narrative chip on the gate, and then we'll go ahead and move directly to the gate as we're being escorted from the kingdom, or from Silnius to say. Okay. Now we jump directly to section 7 of chapter 1. That's what we're going to need to do here. So let me update that to 7. Okay. We have another short narration, which I'll play for you right now, and then we'll do something fun after that, which will be kind of cool. All right, so let me jump to this is from Gregory's perspective. So here we go.
There has always been a rivalry between the Isofarian Guard and the King's Guard. Until now, you assumed it was mostly a friendly one. The 2 King's Guards escorting you out of the city are only too happy to let you know what they really think about the Isofarian Guard and you, its disgraced former captain. As you approach the King's Gate, the shorter of the King's Guards roughly shoves you through the gate and into the road. You register some final insults being cast in your direction, but you have already picked yourself up and started walking away. Without turning, you sense the 2 soldiers following you down the road.
Hey, Gregory, you didn't think we were just gonna let you walk away, did you?
You keep walking, hoping that their better judgment will prevail.
Look at that! Even after being brought so low, he still thinks he's better than us. I think it's time to show him where he really stands.
You sigh. This day just keeps getting worse and worse.
Okay. Oh, Corso's guards don't want to deal with us. So we actually have a battle event right now. We're going up against the King's Guard. So they have 2 attack, 2 defense, 2 action points, and 8 health. So I'm setting that up right now as we speak. And here we go. Let's see. Let me make sure it's not an ambush. I can't remember. Nope, it's regular battle. Regular battle. Okay. Like I said, ambush thief will go first, but that was true. So now we have to deal with these guards, and there's 2 of them. So now you can see how combat works with multiple enemies. Okay. Let's start it up. So let me draw. We have 2 action points. Oh, we actually do start at full health for this battle. Okay. So we'll draw 2 chips, a sword, and we have another sword. Lots of swords. I swear there's shields in there. I swear they are. I would love... I think we're just going to take our licks, honestly. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Advance, spend 1 action point. That is going to put a green sword chip into our bag. Let's go ahead and do a basic attack. This is at +0. We'll do it guard 1. Now, how this works is there are potential of 4 enemies in the game. There are Roman numerals 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are the back line, 1 or 2 are the front line. So you can attack guards 1 and 2 in any order, because these are the front line guards, in the front row. You can attack them in any order, that's fine. But if there was a Roman numeral 3 or 4 enemy in play, you would have to take out all of the Roman numeral 1s and 2s first before you can attack the back row, basically. So in this battle, we don't have to worry about it, I'm just letting you know. So the 3 attack to his 2 defense is 1 damage. We'll attack this guy, because why not? And then let's go ahead and definitely do a cross slash. This is going to be a +1 attack for... Ooh. Yeah, I'll do it. I leave my HP as is? Are you sure? Oh, you're right. I read too far ahead. You are correct. Yes, it's only if I lose, you go back to 20. I totally skipped over that. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm at 19, which is totally fine. Okay. +1 attack. So 4 attack to his 2 defense is 2 damage, and 2 damage here as well, because it attacks all enemies. That cross slash is awesome! Love it. Okay, we are done. It's now the guard's turn. So we'll do Roman numeral 1 guard first and see what he does. He's going to attack us, of course. He's going to spend 2 of his AP to do a shield bash. So +2 attack. He has 2 attack, +2 is 4. 4 to our 2 means we take 2 damage. Okay. Now he's going to do choose target all enemies. So he can choose all enemies. Spinning barrage is he's going to want to spend 2 more AP to do +2 attack to everyone. But in this case, he doesn't have any more AP. He's not going to attack us anymore. We end the turn. That is all he's going to do. Now, you might be wondering, like, well, he only has 2 AP. He would never do that. There are ways to get more action points in the game, the green cubes. We haven't... Both enemies and the guards can do it. So you'll see that soon enough. Okay. Here we go. This other King's Guard is going to attack Gregory, of course. He's going to do, the same thing, actually. So he's going to spend his 2 AP to do +2 attacks. So it's another 2 damage. And he can't do the rest of it. So, yeah. There you go. Both attacking with their shields. Now it is our turn. For a refresh, we will take this and put that in the exhausted spot. We will then discard these chips. And because we discard off of this one is going to flip to its secondary side. This is the other side, critical strike. This one is awesome. 2 AP, 2 swords. Attack 1 enemy for +2. If you can chain it, you can draw more chips from your bag, which is pretty cool. Okay. Let's go and draw our 2 chips. Higher level enemies, more stars, start with more AP as well. That's correct, Nighthawk. That's correct. Yep. Alright, here we go. 1 sword and... Oh, a green sword. So it does not count toward draw 2. And a shield. So we got a bonus draw in there too, which is nice. I love that. Okay. Ooh, we could do the critical strike. I think we should probably get our shields activated. Shield activated. We could draw 2 more chips potentially. We don't have the action points. And I know to get more action points for Gregory, I do need to flip his guard ability to do so. I need to set that up for a chain. We can also, down here, put a break on someone and maybe do a bonus attack. That might be worth it. I don't have what I need to do it, though. Bummer. Bummer. I need more action points. Okay, let's go for the action points. I gotta do this. So I'll go do that. Spend 1 action point. We're gonna get 1 green shield into our bag. And that's gonna also give us a defense. And then with these 2 swords, I can't afford that one. I can't afford that one. We'll just do a basic attack. Is this a final production copy? It is New Egg. New Guy. It is New Guy. It is a final production copy. We'll put one here. And so this green chip I'm basically not going to use. So that's going to go back out of the game. Basic attack of 3. We'll attack this guard again. So 3 minus 2. It's only 1. But I'm getting this flipped, which is what I am aiming to do here. Okay. That is it. Let's go on to the guard step. Let's see what this guard's going to do. He's, of course, attacking Grigory. Shield bash again. Oh, let me reset these APs real quick. I always forget to do that. So spend 2 of that for +2. So that's a... Oh, we do have 1 defense. So we have 3 defense. That's a 4 attack. We're only taking 1 damage this time. And then he's going to try to do that again against everyone, which he doesn't have AP to do it. Okay, let's see what this guard's going to do. Apparently the same. They are very consistent, apparently. Those are different cards, I swear. So that's another 1 damage here. Okay. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay taking 1 damage like that. I'd rather not have them get more action points so soon. Reset the AP. Our turn. We're drawing 2 chips. Oh, discard these. And I have to flip this card. And this card is the one I really wanted to flip. Because if I could chain it, I can get an action point. Which is really what I want to do. It's tough to do, though, because I need 2 shields. Before I draw anything... I'm okay with that. Yeah, I was looking in the bag, see if I wanted to put these in there. Take a damage to do that. I'm probably only going to draw a couple of chips anyway. Yeah, I can see the number at the bottom of the card too. Yeah, there's a... Actually, I'll put it out on the screen so people can see. So you see down here, there's a little number. So you can see that there are different cards. There's a 1 through 8 for every enemy. There just have to be a few copies of that card in there. So, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and draw our 2 chips. Hopefully it's more than 2. But we'll see what happens. Oh, it is more than 2. We get a green shield, black double sword, and another black sword shield. That is pretty good, actually. Dang it. No, it's not. That's not good. Oh, I need to chain this to get my action point, and I set it up wrong. I should not have flipped that card that early. That's my fault. That is my fault. Because they're pretty expensive. You see here, they cost 2 to do. So I need to build up my chips to be able to do these before I flip them. I flipped them at the wrong time. There's a lot of nuance to this game and how to play it well, and I'm not doing a good job right now. So, oh wait, this ability is active. I forgot to move that over. So we can do that at least. Which then leads me to maybe makes sense to do the feint. But I have all this expensive stuff to deal with. No. I don't want to trigger this yet, because I want to make sure I can chain that. Yeah, I want to make sure I can chain that. Okay, we'll just do a big attack. Critical strike, here we go. Spend 2 action points. All our action points, it's +2 attack. Our attack is currently 3. So it's a 5 attack to This guy, he has 2 defense. He's taking 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. And then let's go ahead and do a cross slash for +1 attack to everybody. It's a 4 attack. Only has 2 defense. He is gone. Ho! 1 down. This guy's going to take a 4 attack as well. 2 defense. He's only taking 2. Okay, so this guard is now done. So we do get to flip this over, but we don't get the rewards on it yet. So some mineral fragments and lux if we survive battle. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this from my bag. And then let's go ahead and discard. I didn't use that, so let's discard that one. Okay, now we do the enemy phase. We only have this one guard to do. He is attacking us, of course. He's going to do Spear Thrust, so it's going to spend 1 AP at +2. So we don't have any extra defense. So we just have our 2 defense, 2 attacks. So it's 4 attack, 2 defense. It's 2 damage. Down to 11. Okay. If attack deals damage, add 1. This is a weakened chip to the bag. So a weakened chip now makes it so for that round my attacks do -1. Can't you do a basic attack with 2 shields? Yes, I could have. I very much could have. Maybe I should work on that real quick. That's not a bad idea. I appreciate that, Delando. Yeah, we can work on that real quick. I did not think about that. I don't know why. So as a reminder, if you have 2 of the same symbol, you can combine them to another symbol. So that could be a basic attack. We're going to work on that real quick. That is going to be 3. That's only 1 damage to him. So that's fine. Alright, let's finish up what we're doing here. So he's going to add this to the target's bag. So that gets added to my bag. And then he's going to choose himself. He's going to spend 0 AP to gain a green action point. So he is already going... So he gets another green token here. And then we get to end the turn. So this is how they're going to increase in power as well. So as the battle goes on, we hopefully get those action points, and the enemies does too. So it's going to all ramp up, which is really, really cool. Okay, now it's our turns. Let's go ahead and discard stuff. Now we remove that from game, or from play. This one gets spent. This one does flip. I have... I can look in the bag. I have literally 1 chip in there. And so I'm going to choose to take a damage to then put all of these chips in my bag. Okay. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can't... Oh, this is now exhausted. Let's see if we can't take out this guard somehow. This is up. This is up for us too. We do get 2. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Eric. I did miss that. It is now exhausted. I always forget to exhaust that and also ready the action points. I always do that the wrong time. Alright, here we go. 2 chips. 1 sword. Another 1. Another sword. Okay. Let's see. What can we do? We can do a basic attack. A basic attack is 3. He will take 1 damage. That's not enough to take him out. I wanted to chain this, but I can't. I can't quite do it. Bummer. Okay. We'll just do advance. I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's going to add a green sword into Gregory's bag. And this other one's do a basic attack. Are there different levels of difficulty? Yes, there are. As a quick glance here, King's Guard has a level 2. And they do actually increase up. They can increase all the way up to a 4, for example. So even the same enemies ramp up in difficulty as you play the game. And I'll show you the skill sheet. Actually, I can show you right now. Each guard has its own skill sheet. So here, for example, is Gregory's skill sheet. And how you can read this is there are different sections. So each campaign is separated into 4 chapters. We're in chapter 1 right now. So to level up, we need 10 lux to do so. And then how you read this, we start down here, of course, with cross slash, where we have that unlocked. And then we can see how this has 1 dot on it. That is a Chapter 1 ability we can get. So we can spend 10 Lux to potentially cross it off and get that chip. Now, if you notice that these are 2s here, that means in Chapter 2, then we can unlock those paths, for example. And when you get to, so there's skill caps on what you can actually unlock. And along with that, as you go through the chapters, the enemies will ramp up as well. So the nice thing is, yes, you can kind of grind and unlock stuff, but there's only so far you can grind before you can't go any further. And honestly, the enemies will grind themselves or ramp up with you. So, oh, and yes, that's a good point too. Actually, Eric mentions here there's also 3 levels of difficulty for sure for the whole game. I'm doing normal level, which is as written, but there's other ways you can make it a little bit easier and a little bit harder as well. That's a good point too. All right. So where was I? Did that. I put that in the bag. We have our normal basic attack. And we have 3 attack to his 2 defense. He's taking 1. Couldn't do it. Can't do it, Captain. Okay, it is his turn. He's got 3 action points. Okay. I think we'll survive, though. I think we'll survive. So let's draw his card, see what he's going to do. He is going to choose another King's Guard, which he can't do. Which he would, interesting enough, give him an action point. So he's not going to do that. We'll skip ahead. Choose target himself. He is less than 5 health, which is true. He is going to spend 1 action point to regroup. He's going to heal 1, so it's going to go up 1 health, and then we get to draw a card. So it does say end the turn, but whenever time you draw a card, you can think of it as this is really nerdy of me, a subroutine. So we're going to branch off, do this other card, come back to here where we end the turn. That's how I always think of it. So let's go and draw a card to see what this one does. He's going to choose himself. Tower Protection. He's going to spend 1 more action point, which he does have, to grant 2 blue chips to the start of his next turn. So blue markers, they go next to his defense. So this is a temporary boost of his defense. So now he's going to have 4 defense instead of his 2. Okay. And then if his health is less than 5, which is true, he's going to regroup, so spend another action point. And the color doesn't matter. And then he's going to heal 1 again, and then draw another card. He's comboing right now. Now he's going to choose a target, so me. Intimidation. He would spend an action point, he has none of right now. So he can't do that. And he's going to do attack target. He doesn't have any action point, he's not going to do that either. So we avoid the attack at least. But he did heal up, and he did boost his defense. We had him on the ropes! It did not work. It did not work. Okay. Clean up. Let's reset that. And discard these chips. Flip this over. We're at 10 health. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. Let's keep going. We are drawing only 2 chips because I still haven't been able to get my action point engine going. So draw into a sword. Draw into a double sword. So it's our first, that's a black chip. So that's count to our 2 chip draw. And we get a red weekend. Oh no. And a sword. Well, so this is going to go here. It's going to make all our attacks at -1. This, and then we have these resources to use. Bummer. Bummer. I was hoping to just take him out, but let me see if we have the math with this weekend. So if I were to attack, because I can do this ability here at +2, that's only at +1. Before attack to his 4 defense does nothing. I don't think I can hit him right now with those barriers up. I don't think I can. Probably best he's drawn now anyway since his defense is 4. That's true. That's very true. I mean, get all the pain out of the way now. That's true. Yeah. I don't think I can reasonably hit him at this moment. So I'm trying to think of what I can do to help set me up for the next turns. I think the best... I can flip this card over, but it's a +2 attack. When his shield is down, I can probably take him out with that attack. But I'm already seen my two swords chip. Do take cover? You think take cover, huh? Yeah, I could do take cover. Flip it over. That's not a bad idea. Get the defense going. I like that. That's a good idea, Nighthawk. We'll do it. So as a reminder, this could be, because I don't have any shields, and for that ability, I need 2 shields. So this can count as 1 shield, and these 2 other swords can count as the other shield I need. I spend 1 of my action points, and then that's not active. Kim's got questions here. Does the green cube extra action persist, or does it go away too? It persists for the battle. At the end of the battle, it will go away until the next battle shows up. You have to build back up again. Good questions. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just guard up, let them go. So here is the enemy turn. He's going to go into choose another King's Guard, which he can't choose itself. Is he less than or equal to 5? He is. He's going to spend 1 action to heal. Up to 5. He's just healing up. Oh, wait, and these blue cubes are gone. I forgot to do that real quick. Okay, and then he is going to draw a card. His shield is down finally. Okay, draw the card. And now he's going to target us. He is going to spend an action point to do Intimidation. We add a fear chip into our bag. Fear means you stop drawing chips. Those are pretty nasty. And then he wants to do a charging jab. He only has 1 action point left over, so he can't do that. But then we do end the turn. Okay. Okay, now it's our turn. Let's go ahead. This gets removed. That gets removed, and these get discarded. Okay. Let's see. So let me look at how many chips we have in our bag. We have 3 chips in our bag. I am probably just going to let it be. Oh, I have to flip this over. Yeah, I'm probably just going to let it be. Because I'm not going to draw that many chips anyway. And there's a good chance I might draw that fear chip. So here we go. First chip is a shield. Second chip is that fear chip, of course. Okay. We have a single chip to work with. Okay. Oh, I don't think we can do anything with that chip. No, we can't do anything with that chip. That is unfortunate. Bummer. Oh no, we can do this. We can do this guard. What am I joking? Yeah, I think that's better than nothing. Let's do it. We do add a green chip to our bag. And the nice thing is at least we have the fear out of the game now. Yeah, that's what I'll have to do. Okay. We had him on the ropes and then we lost it. Okay. Okay, here we go. We did run through the deck. Anytime you run through the enemy deck, you do have to reshuffle and keep going. Okay. Let's see, I just dropped a card on the ground, so I'm gonna grab this deck instead. So, Cross Slash. You think I should do Cross Slash? Think I should do Cross Slash? He's got 2 defense. It would be 4. It's true. Because he keeps healing up. I was like, well, I could do that. Okay, Eric says Cross Slash. We'll do Cross Slash. He probably knows how to play this game pretty well, I'm guessing. So we'll do that. It's 4 attack to his 2 defense. It's 2 damage. Boom. All right, bad guy turn. Here we go. He wants to target us. He's going to do Shield Bash, so to spend 2 of those action points at +2. So he's got 4. 4 to our 2 defense, but we're at +1 because this is active. So we're at 4 to 3. We only take 1 damage. Okay. And choose target all enemies. He's going to try that again. He can't afford it, and then he ends his turn. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right, our turn. Discard that. Flip this over. Look into our bag here. We have 2 chips, which we will for sure draw. I will go ahead and take the damage because I'm hoping we can get some better stuff coming out here. All right, here we go. 1. Oh, sweet. That's a green chip. That doesn't count. Black chip. That does count. And another black chip. Ooh, this is actually really good. Yes. 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 Okay, we're doing it. Oh, I can't do both. I don't have enough action points to do both. No! No! What I was looking at is hoping I could put a break on him to drop his defense down and then do this for super attack. But it costs 3 action points. I only have 2. But is this enough to take him out? Because that would be a 5 attack. Yeah, we're good. We're still good. Let's go and do that. Spend our 2 action points. That is +2 attack. So we're at 5 attack. Coming over to the boss, or the enemy, sorry. Enemy, he has... Oh, I just can't see it, sorry. 2 defense against my 5 attack. So he's going to take 3. So 1, 2, 3. He is out! Boom, boom. There we go. Okay, so we flip this one over. And they're both the same, fortunately. So we're going to get double the rewards here. We're going to get 8 Lux. And looks like we're going to get metal fragments too. And then 2 metal fragments is what we're going to get. Okay. So let's find those metal fragments. Yep, metal fragments. And we get 2 of those. Okay. We survived! We survived! Oh! Okay. Now we go on to Victory Below. Oh, I guess this is a narrative thing. A really short one, it looks like. Yeah, this is a really short narrative thing, I believe. Yes, it is. Here we go. I'll play this real quick for you guys.
You look down on the 2 unconscious Kingsguard. You are sad to see that these are the type of soldiers King Karst has chosen to surround himself with. Hopefully, men of better quality will be found in Fort Strahz.
Okay, so that was that section. Real quick narrative events. Oh, the narration of this game is amazing. I never get tired of it. Okay, let's clear that off the board here. And it says, move his node. Oh, these should be out. Let me remove that too. Oh, let's reset the board. So, secondary needs to be the primary. This needs to be refreshed. And this needs to be refreshed as well. Okay. Okay. Move Gregory's chip to node 33. Node 33. So now we're on the outset of Silny. Okay. Now we move on to the next part of the chapter. So we're on section 8 of chapter 1. And we do have a narrative event. And we're almost at the end of the tutorial. We're getting really, really close here. So let me set that narration up real quick. And we'll continue on with the story. This is the right... Let me check the right one. Primed. Yep, that's right. Okay.
You walk along the road to Fort Strahz, pondering what your next move will be. Should you try to persuade the guard to join you? Join you for what? To march on Silny and kill Temnota? Overthrow the king? You are ashamed of the thought as it crosses your mind. The truth is, you have no idea what to do next. You stop walking and close your eyes. Maybe the voice can tell you something. You take a deep breath and clear your mind. But before anything can happen, the sound of footsteps approaching from behind grabs your attention.
Captain Gregory, sir?
You turn to see Alec standing before you at full attention.
Alec, what are you doing here? You should be guarding the wall.
My shift was over and I was in the barracks when the rumors started pouring in. Captain Gregory has been exiled. Captain Gregory was seen fleeing the city.
Alec stops as he notices the dirt and blood staining your clothes.
Did you get in a fight? Captain, what's going on?
You look Alec up and down and sigh.
The rumors are true.
You can see that Alec is bursting with questions, but he lets the silence stretch out.
It's a long story,
you finally say, turning back to the road. Alec catches up to you and matches your stride.
I think I may understand more than you think.
Alec carefully reaches into his belt purse and pulls out a glowing stone.
Alec, are you?
Stonebound,
he finishes.
How? When?
A few weeks ago, I heard the voice and I became stonebound. I had a vision of a great valley where other stonebound were gathering, but I felt the voice telling me to wait for something. And then I saw you.
Alec pauses, waiting for you to take the lead.
Alec, I'm not sure what to tell you. I tried to reason with King Karst, and I only managed to get myself exiled. I'm headed to Fort Straz for supplies, but after that, I don't know where I'm headed.
Well, wherever it is, we'll go there together.
Okay, so that's the next part of the section, and now Alec has joined our company. So, I wanted to show this off to you guys. So this is part of the storage solution to the game. There are 2 of these containers, one for each guard, and it is really slick, actually, how this works. So there's this clear plastic on there, and it actually has spaces. So if you keep, like you see here, those cubes in there, it will hold the cubes in the right spots. You don't have to worry about anything. So I'll pop that one off. And here's Alex's board. The bust is changeable. So as you go through the different guards, you can then just replace their image. And as you see here, I already have the items in the slots. And it'll all stay in here because it's all multi-layered. So I want to show you the setup a little bit. So pull that out. And you see the lower level here, I already have the ability cards set up. And then, yeah, it's really that simple to pull this out. Now, I didn't have the cubes on him to start because I wanted to do that part of the playthrough here, but just want to show you the storage solution because I think this is one of the really nice pluses to the game. They did an awesome job with this one. Okay, so Alex does start at 20 health. His stats are 2 and 1, so 2 attack, 1 defense, and he has 2 action points. He does have a sword. So his sword here, just like before, he can do a basic attack on the back side. Anybody can use this one, and it has a slot. It does tell us to slot it with an obsidian speaking stone. And this one is going to grant a purple chip. So, because we also have this bag here. So a bag for Alec. So because he has 2 attack, we get 2 swords in his bag, and the 1 defense means 1 shield chip in his bag. Because of this one, we get the purple sword shield. And the nice thing about that one, this is purple. This does not count to the normal draw. It's an extra one. Is there a way to record the map conditions in between plays? Yes, there is. Do I have it prepped to show you? I don't, but I can show you in a second. That's a good question, you guy. Very, very good question. Let me see if I can't find that for you real quick to show you what that looks like. Also, they're in the book, so you can write in the book. But there's already, if you go to Sky Kingdom Games website, there's a link to print them out, so you don't have to write in your book. You can just print it out and use it. But I show you. 1 second here. There we go. So this is what you can use to help save your game if you want to save it in between. Let me get rid of that message here. So you can see here there is, oh, actually this is the wrong chapter. Let me go to the right one. There's one for every character, every pair of characters. So here's the one around, Gregory and Alec. So you see you can record their health state of both of them, their stats, attack, defense, APs, how much money and luck you have, where you are in the story. So right now, because I got on the screen above me that 8, actually let me do this here. the 8 right there. And then this is if you have a save point where it's located. So it's very easy. Just fill this out and you should be good to go. Also have space down here for additional notes in case you remember something. But very, very slick. So that's how you record things between plays. Good question. What was I doing? I was doing 7. That's right. Okay. Now, Alec does have... He looks a bit different because he's an alchemist. He's got a lot of fun potions. I like him a lot. Very, very sporty character. So we add those down there. He does have his reinforcement, and that does need to get a purple for his speaking stone. Okay. He has his health potion too. Cool. That's it. He is set up, ready to go, and then we move on to... Yes. Okay. Oh, the other thing that changes is before we're using the bust, or sorry, not the bust, the chip for Gregory, because we have both of them, we now can use this amazing miniature. So you can see Alec there and Gregory there. So this is a miniature for both of them. So this will control where you are in the map. Very, very cool. Very large. I think painters are going to have a lot of fun with that one. Okay. Oh, and we do get to heal. So we do get to go up to full health here, fortunately. And we start at node 35. So we are currently right here on 35. And I actually will probably pull up different maps so you can follow along that way. Now that this is taking up a little more room on the screen. Okay. So now we have to move to 40, and we're making way to Fort Straws. Right down here is our goal. So let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better there. So we're at 35, we're going to 40, and then we're going to 48. That's the path we're doing for this approach. Okay. So we do exploration. So just like before, we move down to... Actually, do I have to do exploration right now? No, we are on 35. We don't move to 35. Then we move to 40. Yep. Okay. Yep. So now we're moving to 40. And then we're going to, just like before, draw into the event bag and see what we get. So, whoops, this fell off. Okay, so we draw into this, and we draw into a compass token. So, compass token, what that means is basically nothing happens. However, in the game, there is a field event deck. This is the deck. There's, let me show you close up in the corner here. There's different colors. A yellow one. There is a, I don't have them pulled out right now, a red one and a blue one. And depending on where you are on the map, you will be looking at the top card of one of these. And so currently, because with the region we're in, we're going to put a purple cube on this card. You do that anytime you draw this compass. Now, we have a choice. So anytime we draw a compass, we can choose to do a combat if we wish. So right now, despite the fact we're not running anything, we can do combat. Why you might want to do that, maybe you want to level up, maybe you look for certain components, you need to do some hunting. The other thing you can do is if there's 3 purple cubes on here, you can do this event. So you get to read what it says, and there's always a choice. You make the choice, flip the card over, and see what it does. So we just put 1 cube on there for now. Okay. And then we move down to 48. And then because we move down to 48, yes, then we have another narration. Yep, we do another narration here. Okay, let's do that, and we're getting real close to the end here, I believe. And this is from Alec's perspective.
As you walk alongside the captain, you periodically glance over, trying to decipher what he's thinking. His face is an unreadable mask, but you can sense the determination emanating from him with each step. You manage to keep mostly silent, allowing the captain space for his thoughts. and then suddenly you arrive. The high walls and towers of Fort Strahz always managed to make you feel safe. Standing before them now, they seem cold and menacing. The usual hubbub surrounding the fort is gone now, replaced by icy silence. Grigory lets the silence stretch out before shouting,
"Open the gate! Would you have your captain stand out in the cold?"
A dark figure comes to stand above the gate, leering down at you.
Captain? That's an interesting thing to call yourself. I had a little bird tell me that you are captain no longer.
Akev. Then you also heard that the king is graciously allowing me to gather supplies before my exile.
That's Captain Akev to you. And yes, I will allow you to gather a few supplies. After all, I still know how to follow King's orders. I'll even let you bring your little friend.
As the gate cracks open, Captain Grigory speaks to you.
You're sure you want to cast your lot with me? There's no going back from here.
My lot is with the Stonebound, and that means you. This is bigger than even Isofar now.
Captain Grigory takes a look at you and nods before stepping through the gate.
Okay. So that was the next part of the chapter. And now we get to move the guards to Fort Strahz, the minimap. So we are now entering into this destination. So we came from 48, so now we're going to go into the North Gate right here as we enter Fort Strahz. Okay. And we do move on to the next part of the chapter. We're on section 10. We're getting really, really close. Oop. That's not 10. How did I do that math? Oh, hold on a second. What's going on here? There, 10. There we go. Yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool. And this is the Fort Strahz minimap. Actually, let me try to move the camera so you guys can see a little better here. What's going on? How come my camera's not moving? Oh, that's why. Let me move this a little bit spot. There we go. So in Fort Strahz, okay. Now you see that, oh man, the story gets good. I like this part of the story. Let's jump down to the next section. We're in section 10 of the story. From Grigory's perspective.
As you pass through the gate, you are surprised to see the courtyard filled with what must be every guard at the fort. They seem to be split into two groups. The larger group surrounding Captain Akev, facing down a much smaller group near the west gate, perhaps 20 guards. Akev locks eyes with you, only speaking when you are a few paces away.
Grigory, it's so good to see you again. Tell me, how has my son been doing under your command?
The sudden shift in tone throws you. Your thoughts flick back to Yuri, young and eager, and now stonebound.
Yuri is young, but he has a strong heart. With more experience, I believe he will make an excellent leader someday.
Akev sneers.
I must tell you, I'm glad that he won't be getting that experience from you. You see, you've always struck me as a bit dull.
At this, the guards behind Akev begin to chuckle.
I think my boy Yuri needs a strong hand to guide him now. Someone who isn't content to merely guard the borders.
Isofar is safe and prosperous. I do everything to ensure that it remains that way.
The Falman threat has been hanging over our heads for generations. You were never willing to do what needed done. But I will end the threat once and for all.
You are speaking of war with Falman? That is madness!
Well, Grigory, the secret to being a truly great leader just so happens to be a little bit of madness.
Akev smiles and turns to the guard nearest him.
Throw him his supplies and send him on his way. The good captain, ex-captain, is boring me.
The guard lobs a small pouch which you snatch out of the air. You turn over the pouch, and a single gold coin falls into your palm.
For services rendered. Goodbye, Grigory. Don't forget to bring your pet soldier with you when you leave.
A shout bursts forth from the small group of guards clumped near the gate.
Grigory is the rightful captain!
Immediately, 200 swords are drawn and leveled at the rogue group of guards. You desperately try to intervene.
No, my friends! I am your captain no longer. King Karst himself has ordered it. The best thing you can do for Isofar now is to serve honorably under Akev.
Grigory. I just don't know what to do with you. Since I'm feeling generous today, I won't kill you and your little sycophants where you stand. Instead, I offer you my mercy.
As Akev speaks, he singles out the small group of rebel guards with a slow sweep of his sword.
You will join your precious captain in his exile. You will wander as outcasts in a foreign land until you die alone and forgotten. Your children will forget your faces. Your families will live in disgrace and curse your name, and your line will end. You will be erased from history. And if any of you are ever foolish enough to try and come back here, you and your entire family will be hauled to the nearest town square and slaughtered as a warning to those who would betray Isofar.
The only thing that softens the blow is the hope that there will be no bloodshed today. Rather than risking any further discussion with Akev, you simply turn to usher Alec and the new guards out of the gate. Something is off about Akev. You take a final look at him, but the person staring back at you is no longer the Akev you knew.
Okay, that was section 10. So we were in Fort Strahd momentarily. Akev, so he basically kicked us out. We're now moving out of Fort Strahd. So let me move into here so you can see a little bit more. We were just here, and now we're going to node 63. So, and now we're cruising through here. We are one last section. Oops, why are you doing that? I forget what's happening. Okay, we're in section 11 of chapter 1. Okay, this is the final piece and for the tutorial. So one last narrative moment to set the stage of what's going on in the world of Isofar. Here we go, from Alec's point of view.
The mood is somber as you walk the coastal road with your fellow exiles. Grigory thought it best to get as far away from Fort Strahd as possible before stopping to come up with a more permanent plan. You have taken the time to get to know some of the guards better. There are a few familiar faces in the group. Baron, who helps in the smithy sometimes. Kellen, an excellent swordsman. Danielle, always ready with a clever remark, but nice enough to get away with it. Other faces are familiar, but you can't place names with them. But there, speaking with Grigory, is a face you've never seen before. A new recruit, maybe? As you approach them, the new recruit turns and greets you.
Ah, welcome, Alec. It's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Have we met before? I mean, no, I guess you just implied we haven't, but then, how do you know my name?
When you get around as much as I do, you get to know a lot of things. Rather than bore you with how I know your name, I should think you'd be more interested in where we go from here.
You look to Grigory.
What is he talking about, Captain? Who is this?
I think it best if you just show him what you showed me.
Very well.
He stoops down and plucks an ordinary stone off the ground and holds it before you. Slowly, the stone begins to change before your eyes. a faint light emanates from the center of the stone, building in intensity until you are forced to shield your eyes. There is a sudden flash of light that pierces your eyelids, and then it's over. When you open your eyes, a steadily glowing speaking stone rests in the man's hands.
It's a speaking stone! But how did you know it was there?
It wasn't there. The stones appear when there is a need.
The man pauses before continuing.
You have heard the voice speaking to you from the stones, yes?
Yes?
No need to fear, Alec. I am an emissary for the one behind that voice.
The man pauses, allowing the words to sink in. The sudden realization of the man's importance slams into you. Now that you are aware, you can sense the power flowing from him. You awkwardly stumble, simultaneously trying to bow and shake his hand. Failing both, you manage to ask,
"Sire, what do we call you?"
I am no king, merely a guide.
The man raises his gaze, and you realize that everyone has stopped speaking and all eyes are locked on the stranger.
You may call me Dunamis. I have been sent to you because the need is great. There is a darkness that has long plagued the edges of this world. You have seen its effects in men like Captain Akev, but this is just the beginning. This darkness, Tenebris, is no longer content to hide in the shadows. It has chosen this time to strike out at all of Telios. Its goal is to bring every man, woman, child, and beast under its sway. But you have access to a greater power. In time, you will learn to use this power to its full potential. Until that time, a place has been set aside for you to gather your strength. Follow me, and I promise you will not meet the shadow unprepared.
Okay, that, my friends, completes the tutorial. So, we are at, over here, node 63, and it says that we need to get all the way down to node 102 down here. This is Fort Istra. And now we're on exploration part, so we can go wherever we want to explore, and on our way to get down to here. Of course, when we get down to there, because the narrative chip's there, we have to stop and then continue on with the narration story. But this is the end of the narration with the open world exploration. But I do want to mention something briefly, because this is, I think, very important. For Alec. Alec is really fun, but for him to work really well, he kind of needs to have an ability. So let's go ahead and level him up. You can level up anytime during exploration. So let's go and look at what he has. So here's his sheet. What we're going to do is, because we have 16 lux, we're going to go ahead and spend, there's a line right here, spend it to go ahead and cross off this one here, spend 10 of our lux to get Combine. So Combine is another ability, and we're going to put it right here on his sheet. I highly recommend people to do that, so that, because it's going to, like I said, it helps him quite a bit in his story. So we're going to drop that down, spend 10 of that. Okay. And then that is basically going to be the end of our campaign here, our playthrough. So I'm going to pause, because at this point, I came to join me as we do this big old exploration thing, but be on the lookout for more places of this. This might be next week, depending how things go. I'll try to post it and let you guys know in advance when this happens. But thanks everyone for watching, and I see you at the next stop. Bye-bye.